What interested me most was that how the participants that you organized, how they get to know each other. And they are actually on the third day, fourth day, you say that they start like nurturing the common ground for the common cause.
Exactly.
And if the diplomat could do the same thing, we would have had different results a long time ago, but it's not the case. And then since our viewers are those who are, they are faith-based organization, but the basic precept is, in English it's called empathy. Empathy. So that in Japanese they say doku, that we same suffering. That means
that I can put my feet in your feet and feel you.
Exactly.
That's empathy.
That's right.
Sympathy, I feel sorry for you. But empathy, I become you.
Exactly.
Doku.
Do means same.
Doku.
Ku means suffering.
So same suffering. Doku.
Yeah. Talk to the camera that what your organization are trying to do.
Okay.
And particularly the potentiality of realizing the nuclear-free zone for the Middle East, because it has been widely viewed as impossible still. But you're talking about it is possible. Yeah. So that the viewer will be interested in how it will be possible. Yeah. And then you can introduce them that how you'll be doing that based on your experience, what can be done.
Konnichiwa. I'm Emad and I'm part of the Middle East Treaty Organization. Our organization's aim and goal is to get rid of all weapons of mass destruction from the Middle East. That's nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, and biological weapons. And we believe we can do that. And we've already made a lot of progress. Even though the idea of making a geographical area like the Middle East free from all these weapons of mass destruction seems impossible, we have done our work to make sure that there are pathways forward to make it a reality. We do that by talking to governments from across the region and internationally, and we advocate through a treaty-based approach. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's a legal document whereby all of the countries in the region can sign on and agree on. And for that, there needs to be diplomacy, negotiations. And while this idea of a free zone from all weapons of mass destruction is decades old, in a couple of years since 2018, we have a new way forward. And that's through the United Nations General Assembly resolution that calls for an annual conference in the UN where they invite all the 24 countries of the Middle East to come and negotiate a treaty that enables the dismantlement, disarmament, and to make sure that there are verification, monitoring, inspections across the region so that no country can build, stockpile, or use such weapons. And for that, the Middle East Treaty Organization provides a draft treaty. We do that by negotiating with experts and former diplomats in closed rooms where they feel comfortable to speak their mind. And in those rooms is where these relationships and conversations happen amongst people and governments that usually don't even recognize each other. That includes the Iranians, Israelis, people from Saudi Arabia and elsewhere, that currently their governments are at war or have animosity. But what we have shown is that once they start the conversation, once they see solutions on the table, they can see the common ground among each other. That ultimately, they're all from the same region, they want to live in peace, prosperity, and they have much more in common than what divides them. So in that essence is where our work has made a lot of breakthrough. In addition to that, we have educational programs and capacity building that makes sure that the future generation and current generation has the means and abilities and go about advancing disarmament in the region. And we need as many help from everywhere in the world as possible. And that is why we want to build a coalition that goes beyond the Middle East. Because what happens in the Middle East will have ripple effects all across the world. So if we can stop nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East, I am confident that we can do that globally. And that requires a global, united movement that allows this to happen. Don't forget, there are only 9 countries with nuclear weapons. And if we have a targeted campaign from grassroots to policy to advocacy, we can make these governments dismantle and disarm. And Japan and the people of Japan know firsthand what the use of nuclear weapons does and the impact that to this day is felt by people who lived in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and also from the environmental impact that we have seen from Fukushima. So Japan has, unfortunately, a history of that experience, and an experience that is important to be aired from across the world so that we know the consequences of nuclear war or nuclear disaster. The only way to avoid it is to get rid of it. And that is what we're doing at the Middle East Treaty Organization. And I call upon everyone to join us. Our website is wmd-free.me. And of course, you can find us online on all of the platforms, social platforms. Finally, as you know, at the basis of your ideology, religion, faith-based way of life, Doku is the ability to have empathy. And empathy ultimately is what binds us in having emotional attachment and conveying what you feel and I feel together. That our suffering is not separated by geography or space. That we are actually united as a human race. And if I suffer, you suffer. And if you suffer, I suffer. So for that to end, we need to come together. May that be in Japan, Russia, South America, or the Middle East. It has to be a united front. That our humanity is what makes us united, not what divides us. Thank you.
So, when we invited people from around the Middle East, diplomats, ex-diplomats, academics, to meet with internationals and discuss the first draft treaty, what happened was that these diplomats usually talk only about the obstacles, and that's where they feel most comfortable, why it will not work. And we knew that inviting them to such a meeting to talk about possibilities will be almost impossible. It will be a new thing. So on the first day, we gave them time to talk about all the obstacles, all the reasons why it won't work. And we asked them to now, when we put all these obstacles on a big paper, everybody could look at the obstacles, and then we put it aside, and we said that on the third day, on the last day, before the last session, we will go back to the obstacles. And then we opened the draft treaty and started to go article by article. Now, because the obstacles were already on the side, here there was an opportunity to look at a text that was not perfect, and on purpose we kept saying that this is just a draft for them to be part of the drafting of a better one. So what happened in that room is that people started to argue. They didn't like everything we wrote, of course. It was not perfect. And the imperfection of this draft treaty helped the diplomats actually look for better ways. They did want to make it better, and that's the beginning of goodwill. They wanted a better text, and therefore they stopped talking about the obstacles. And on the last day, when we said, let's go back to the obstacles, they didn't want to. At that point, they wanted to have a different conversation. They wanted to ask, what are we going to do next? How are we going to make this text better? And how we are going to protect the process of bringing in states to discuss a real treaty. And for us, that was groundbreaking for the campaign. At that point, we knew that now we're talking about possibilities and not about the impossible route towards disarmament. Hi, I'm Sharon Dolev. I'm from Israel.
Hi, I'm Emad Kiyaei and I'm from Iran.
Together, we founded and established the Middle East Treaty Organization, together with friends.
And the aim of this organization is to get rid of weapons of mass destruction from the Middle East.
And the world.
And help us get there. And if we can do it as an Israeli and Iranian, amongst a lot of friends who are helping us achieve this goal, you can do it anywhere in the world. Thank you.